If you like portable power station testing and reviews, then you should definitely like this video. In this video, we'll be checking out this Jackery HomePower 3000 portable power station, as well as Jackery's 200-watt folding solar panel. Jackery was founded in 2012 and has been selling portable power stations and solar panels since 2016. Because their products work extremely well, are nicely designed, and the company stands behind their products, unlike many other portable power station manufacturers, the company has gained brand recognition over the years. I've tested several of their products on my channel. After watching this video, if you're interested in making a purchase, then be sure to click on the links posted in the video description area for great early Prime Day and Prime Day deals using the provided money-saving coupon code. You'll get the lowest prices of the year. Okay, let's get started by opening up the box. Jackery products are usually packaged very well. And inside the box you have the power station, which is pretty small for a 3000 watt, I must say. Manual and power cord, AC mains, charging cord. Let's bring this in the house, take a closer look at it, go over the features, and then we're also going to do a lot of testing. Looking at the front panel of the Jackery, you have your liquid crystal display. Over here is a 125 volt 30 amp or 3600 watt pure sine wave AC output. It's an RV connector. Over here you have a DC 12 volt 10 amp accessory socket, power switch, push and hold. You can see it was received 28%. Usually ship it at a lower level or lower state of charge. Over here you have USB Type-C output, 100 watt maximum. Over here you have USB Type-A, 18 watt maximum output. This turns it on, you just push it. Green LED, and you're going to see an indication right over here that this is on. That went off. Over here is an AC output, you push that. You just heard it click on. It's showing how many hours remaining at the current discharge level. Here it says 120 volt output, 60 hertz. This is your input power. If you're going to plug this into the AC mains, which I'll show you in a minute, you'll see the input charging power. Or if you connect this to solar panels, or if you buy an optional charging cable for your vehicle, you'll also be able to see the input power right here. Up here you can see Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. That's going to be for the app, which I'll show you later in the video. With the AC output turned on, you can either use the full rated output from this one receptacle, or you can use the full rated output, 3600 watts, across all four of these 20 amp rated receptacles. Turn it off. Let's take a look at the other sides. So right here, just a vent opening for the cooling fans to draw air in. This is the rear side of the unit. And over here is an important side. This is just the vent opening. I believe the fans are located on the opposite side that I showed you. Over here you have AC output reset, basically push button circuit breakers. In the event your AC output is overloaded, these will pop out. You have to push these back in order to reset the power station. Over here is your AC charging input up to 15 amp max. And if you're going to be using solar or a car charger, you have these two ports here that you would plug into. These are 80/20 ports. Handle grips, they're very comfortable, and of course you can carry it in front of you, close to your body, or two people can walk side by side, each person holding one side of the power station. You can turn the display on and off just by pushing this briefly. In order to produce a high power output, the portable power station uses a 51.2 volt 60 amp hour 3072 watt-hour lithium iron phosphate battery. Cycle life is expected around 4,000 times if you're not going to fully discharge the power station. So if you charge this to 100% and you drain it down to maybe 70%, you can expect around 4,000 times. If you discharge it lower to 50%, you may get 3,500 to 3,800 times. And if you go all the way down to 20%, I wouldn't recommend going lower than 20 on a regular basis. For the testing, I'm going to be doing it in this video, but I would keep 20% as the bottom. If you did that, you may get 2,800 or 3,000 cycles. So it's going to vary on how much of a discharge or how deep the discharge is. The weight of this portable power station is just under 60 pounds or 27 kilograms. The dimensions for this power station are 16.4 inches across or 41.6 centimeters, 12.8 inches, depth or 32.5 centimeters, and 12 inches tall or 30.5 centimeters. Using the supplied power cord for charging, which I'll plug in a minute to get this voltage higher before I do any testing, you can expect around 1,500 watts maximum, and based on the capacity of the battery in this unit, it would take approximately 2 hours to fully charge it if it was fully depleted. The Jackery HomePower 3000 will also let you have up to 12 amps or 1,440 watts flow through the unit, for example, into a computer system, and it's going to be a bypass mode, uninterruptible power supply. In the event of a power failure, it will switch very quickly in milliseconds from the AC mains to the inverter in this unit. The charging temperature range for this power station is 32 degrees Fahrenheit up to 113 Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. Discharge temperature range is 5 degrees Fahrenheit to 113 Fahrenheit and minus 15 Celsius up to 45 degrees Celsius. The warranty period for this power station is 3 years. What I'd like to do first is just get the charge up higher on this, and you can see what the input power is going to be at this low state of charge. So let me plug this into the receptacle, which is off to the right. 1,575 watts. And it's showing 1.8 hours at that level. So I was right. If this was depleted further, you can expect right around 2 hours. Let me get this up to around 50-60%. Okay, I stopped it at 65%. Everything went well. This is just a little warm as expected. And with almost 1,600 watts going through this 14 gauge wire, it was also a little warm. So no issues, everything was good. So over here is your AC voltage. You're going to see it displayed. Let's turn this on. And let's just go in between these two. 119.9, and if you go over here, it's the same thing. 119.9. Now the waveform and frequency. There you go. Very nice sine wave. Over here it says 60.0000 hertz. So it is 60 hertz output. If I go over here, give you a better look at it. Now I'm going to connect up a motor and resistive load at the same time so we can see what kind of an effect it has on the waveform. Hair dryer. And as you just saw, the waveform was stable under load. Now we're going to test the DC portion. So first is going to be the DC 12 volt 10 amp accessory socket. I'm going to place a load on this, which is 9.9 amps. So I'm going to keep it just a hair below the maximum. And I'm going to let it run for about 20 minutes just to make sure there's no issues supplying a high level of current. So plug this in. Turn it on. You can see over here is activated. And here we have 13.077 volts. And 9.9 is the level of current or the load placed on the receptacle. So let's turn it on. And you can see we're at 12.42. There's going to be a little bit of a voltage drop on this cable. And I'm sure on these connections. Leveled off around 12.45. And you can see almost 125 watts. Okay, no problem at all. It was running about 20 minutes, so the accessory socket could definitely deliver up to 10 amps. To test the USB Type A output, I'm going to put 3.1 amps with this load tester, and I'm also going to be plugging in my phone to the other port. I'm going to let both run for about 20 minutes, and you're going to see the wattage show up right over there. On. Okay, let's let that sit and I'll be back. Okay, no issues. Around a half an hour charging the phone and having the 3.1 amps on the load tester. So let's go on to USB Type-C. Now in order to test the USB Type-C, I'm going to use the electronic load over here, weigh this down with about 70 watts on one side, and I'm also going to add another 20-25 on this one. So it's going to be a little below 100 using the two loads. I'll let it run for about a half an hour just to make sure there's no issues. Alright, so 92 watts. Everything is looking good. 69 watts. So that means this is pulling around 23 watts. Okay, no problem at all. I actually let it run about 45 minutes because the load was a little lower than I wanted, but it was still a substantial load on those ports, and there was no issue. So far, everything is looking good with this power station. In a minute, we'll take it outside to do the part that everybody loves, which is the AC output testing. Also keep in mind that with the power station, you can have this connected directly to your home using a transfer switch. You would select a number of circuits that you would like to control in the event of a power failure. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is take a look at the app. The app for Jackery can be found at the App Store for Apple or Google Play for Android. You can also go in the manual. You can scan this QR code and you'll be able to download it that way. Once the app is installed on your smartphone, you're going to have to register an account, your email address, and pick a password. Once that's done, it's going to start off by saying Add Device, and it'll be very easy to add the device. I use Bluetooth, not Wi-Fi. Right here you can see the app is installed. My device has been added. Click HomePower 3000. Now it's going to connect using Bluetooth to the power station. 60% state of charge, matches over there. I can turn the AC output on, off, DC on, off. I could turn the display on and off. I could have it set for 2 hours continuous display. You can also click on generation, bottom left, and it's going to tell you when your solar panels are connected, how much solar power has been generated. You can also click carbon reduction, bottom right. You'll see calculations once you have the solar panels connected. If you go to the upper right hand corner, click on the gear. Now we're in the settings section. You click change settings. You could do quiet charging mode or fast. When you do quiet, what's going to happen, you're going to have a reduced charging input and it's going to make the unit quieter. So I prefer fast. Let's go back. Energy saving mode. You can select how many hours before it goes to energy saving mode. Right now it's set for 12. Working mode. It says battery full use, 0 to 100%. So I could use this maximum charge and drain it all the way down to the bottom. Or if you want to have safety factors put in there to prolong the life of the battery, you can go to set put battery saving mode, okay. Now, when battery is 15% and when battery is 80, it starts charging, so you can see the range has changed. I can go back to fully use. And if you look at the bottom, it has 0 to 100. Let's go back again. Self-powered, it says maximizes the use of solar energy and reduces reliance on grid. Charging plan says suitable for situations where fluctuating electricity prices. All right, so this basically allows you to charge at certain times, peak and off-peak hours. Let's go back. Auto off is 2 hours. And that is about it. It gives you device specifications right here. So the app does work, and it works well. Now let's go on to taking this outside and performing the tests on the AC output. Okay, you can see I charged this up a little further. It is now at 93% state of charge. For the first 120 volt output test, I want to find out if the Jackery has the ability to handle high inrush loads. That's very important if you're going to be powering a refrigerator, any other appliance that has a compressor or an electric motor. So over the years, after testing many different power stations, I learned which ones of my portable power tools can be used to assess the power station. So let me get started first with the rigid portable shop vac. Okay, let's turn it on. No problem at all. This saw right here has incredibly high inrush. So let's take a look. If it starts this will pretty much power whatever you need to power. Okay, here we go. Beautiful, no hesitation. Peaked around 2,400 watts. Let's try it again. Around 2,300 to 2,400 watts, and then it leveled off around 1,100 watts. No issue with this at all. Now let's try another really high inrush tool. Now the Delta Industrial Compound Miter Saw. And it sounds no different than using it with the standard 120 volt receptacle in my home. Keep in mind, some people say, oh, you got to cut wood. It's not showing an accurate test. Once this is up and spinning with this carbide blade, it will slice through wood like nothing. The only thing that would happen, you'll see a little bit of an increase in the current once it's operating, but the main thing is the startup. I saw 2,300, I believe, 39. So very similar to that circular saw, but this one here is a little higher with the inrush current. All right, now I want to try overloading the Jackery. Make sure there's protection in place in the event of an overload condition. Okay, now 4 different things going at once should set us way over the top. I'm going to turn on the shop vac, hair dryer first, and then add in the circular saw and the miter saw. Wow, this one is probably the best power station I've tested yet. 4,000, almost 4,400 watts, and it left it running for at least 30 seconds before it activated the protection. Incredible. I gotta say, really, really good for something this small. Now I'm going to let this cool down a little bit, I'm going to put this up to 100%, and I'm going to place a 3,400 watt load just a little below the maximum rating of 3,600. That's the continuous rating. So I'll keep it just a little below, and we're going to go a full discharge to make sure it can keep that load going the whole time, and I want to see how long it's going to run for. Okay, the portable power station is now at 100%. I let it cool for about 20 minutes. It didn't get that hot because it was already around 90%. Once this all comes on, it's going to create a load of around 3,300 watts. Wow, that was outstanding. Outstanding. 49 minutes and 23 seconds. The discharge rate held perfectly stable at 3340 all the way down. And when it does that, you know that the output voltage is stable. Some power stations, when it gets down to 15% or 10%, you're going to see the output wattage start to drop. And the reason for that is because the output voltage is dropping. So excellent performance. If you calculate that, 49 minutes and 23 seconds. So 0.82 hours multiplied by 3340, that gives you 2,742 watt hours. Keep in mind, when the manufacturers put the ratings on these batteries, it's at a much lower discharge rate. So if we were discharging at 2,800 to 3,000 watts, more than likely the 2740 would be very close to 3,000. So everything looks good there. So this is about 10 minutes after the test completed. The power station feels very warm but not hot. I'm going to try plugging in the AC mains to put a little bit of a charge on it before I go out back and do a solar panel demonstration. And it's not coming on over here. So that means the power station is too hot. Once it cools down enough, it'll automatically turn on and start charging. I just checked the app, and you can see right here, it's 54.1 degrees Celsius, and it's showing red. So that's why this is not charging. As soon as it cools down, this will begin charging at the 1,600 watt rate. Right here, you're looking at the Solar Saga 200 watt folding solar panel. Also included is this cable that has USB Type C and Type A. You have two connectors that you can use for different products. For the HomePower 3000, you use this one right here. And the other end, right here, plugs directly into the upper left-hand corner of this panel. Let me show you where. Right over here, put your fingernail, pop that open, and you plug the cable right there. What I really like about this panel is, unlike the older panels that they had that had the fabric on them, both sides of the panel are extremely durable. It's just like this on both sides. The supports don't have the fabric. The canvas fabric isn't bad, but over time it'll dry rot, and then when you go to open up these supports, you might tear the fabric. With this, it's IP68 rated, so the entire thing is water resistant, which is really good. And it opens up very simply. There's a magnetic catch. A middle section that opens up as well. Right here you can see the panel when it's opened fully. 4 sections. And the 2 sections in the center are held together with button snaps. If you look right over here, there's a bullseye with a black dot. The purpose of that is to help you get this perpendicular to the sun. So if you have it set up correctly, the black dot is going to cast a shadow in the center bullseye, letting you know you're getting the most power out of your panel. The Solar Saga 200 is now connected to the Jackery power station, and you can see it's charging. The reason why we're not reaching 200 is because there is a little bit of haze. On a crystal clear day, it should not be a problem. For fast charging, I would use two 200-watt panels or a 500. You want to get the charging all done in one day. You don't want to have to charge this unit over a 2-day period. And that is it for this video. I must say, for such a small, high power output power station, it performed incredibly well. A unit like this is ideal for traveling, camping, boating, or just to keep in your home for emergency power backup. If you're looking to buy a portable power station, then be sure to check out the links I provided in the video description area. Thanks for watching.